Hey loves, happy Tuesday. I hope that your week is off to a great start. So, today I was reading this article and it was about the TV show A Different World. I'm not sure how familiar you are with the show. Honestly, to not give away too much about my age, the show was on TV after I was born, but I was very small when it came out, so I've seen the reruns as an adult. Anyways, this article focuses on the relationship between two of the main characters, Whitley and Dwayne, and it talks about their relationship and the fact that this relationship was not as romantic as it was portrayed to be on TV, that it was, in fact, very unhealthy and toxic. So I want to talk to you about this because I see this in a lot of TV shows. I see it in a lot of so-called romantic movies. Here's the issue that I'm talking about. I am talking about cases in which there is a female character in a TV show or a movie, and she is not at all attracted to the leading male interest in the beginning. So there's no attraction whatsoever. And the man in question, not only is he not really in love with this woman, not only is he not really infatuated with this woman, but he sees her as a challenge. So he lets his male ego take over, and it becomes a case of he has to have this woman. This is more of a conquest than it is infatuation, and all sorts of self-destructive and destructive to the woman things happen in order to achieve this goal. So the article, in the context of talking about Whitley and Dwayne, talks about the fact that he was originally after another female character. When she moves away, he suddenly becomes obsessed with Whitley. He spends their entire relationship over the course of the show questioning their relationship. He is constantly making fun of her because of her standards, and he's constantly challenging those standards. Why is it that you want to be with a rich man? Why is it that you want to be with a man who has this status? He waits after they break up until the day that she gets married at her wedding ceremony to break up the wedding and try to win her back, which he does. And in the process of all of this, her standards are compromised. She goes through so much heartache because he decides at some point to entertain another woman. And she is really a shell of the woman that she was at the beginning of the show. And I know some of you may love the show, see it as romantic, think the relationship is great, but this is not healthy. And this is the issue that I want to talk to you about, because so many women come to me telling me that they have issues with trust. You tell me that you can't trust men. You tell me that the men that you have been with in the past have used you. Sometimes they only want you for sex. Sometimes they want you for money that you've given them. Sometimes they want you because of something else that you can give to them, status maybe. As a preacher's daughter, I've definitely seen cases in some churches in which a man will pursue the daughter of a minister, the daughter of a preacher, because he's in ministry himself and he wants to up his own status. And in these cases, both in real life and also in TV and movies, there's this huge questioning of whether or not the woman is too stuck up, too bougie, whether or not her standards are too high. And in the end, in these very toxic scenarios, what happens is you have a woman who will compromise her standards because she believes in this, frankly, BS. She believes that, okay, well, maybe my standards are too high. Okay, maybe I have been too bougie. Maybe I have been overlooking perfectly good men because I keep chasing after this. And the men that I want that have this, maybe they aren't around, or I haven't had that many opportunities to date those men. So maybe I should settle for this guy because this guy is really nice. This guy is doing all these crazy things to pursue me. Here's the thing. For starters, I don't want to offend anyone when I say this, but for starters, I need you to check your ego. If you are dating a guy who you know good and well is not your type, but you continue to date him because he constantly buys you gifts or because he constantly has nice things to say about you, I really need you to check your ego. Because yes, you should be cherished. Yes, you should be adored. Yes, you should be loved by someone who is willing to regularly show their affection for you. But if you're settling for someone because he's the first person to do that, please know that there are other men who will give you gifts. There are other men out there who will give you compliments. Don't just settle because for once, after dating toxic men for years and years, you found someone who is nice, because nice men can still be toxic. There are plenty of nice guys out there who are only nice because they're driven by their ego, as in the case of the show. You do not need to date a man who is nice to you because he sees you as a challenge, and he's going to be nice and good and sweet until he has you, and then suddenly he's going to flip a switch and become a complete and total jerk. And I see that happen way too often. Second, your standards are your standards. Now, when women work with me one-on-one, we do talk about healthy standards. We do talk about healthy relationship boundaries. We do talk about that list of what it is that you want in a man, and we discuss what a healthy list looks like. We discuss how to make sure that what you want is really what you want and that you're clear on the things that are most important. I can tell you, for example, I had a friend a few years ago who she came to me, and by the way, this is why I don't do matchmaking. This is why I'm a dating coach, not a matchmaker. She came to me a few years ago. She asked me for help finding a boyfriend, finding someone who could be a life partner for her. And I wanted to help her. So I asked her, can I see the list of things that you want in a man? And I kid you not, this list was several pages long. So I looked over it, and I knew exactly one guy who fit most of this list. I didn't know any guy on this planet who fit all of it. But I came back to her, and I was like, hey, there's this guy who would be absolutely perfect for you. I don't want to give away who this friend is, so I'm just going to say he's this, he's that, all these qualifications that she listed. And she was so excited, but she decided that she did not want to date this man because out of her several pages long list, there were only a couple of minor things that he did not fit, but the one big thing that he did not fit was race. My friend is black and this guy is white. So I said, okay, fine, you're lost, because this was truly a great guy. And sure enough, about a year or so later, she changed her mind and this man was married. In fact, he's married and he now has a child with his wife. So yes, there are healthy boundaries to set. There are healthy ways to look at the list of qualifications. And I do work with women on those things. But when it comes to the basics, when it comes to you don't want to date a man who's not Christian, you don't want to date a man who doesn't smoke, you need to decide what it is that you absolutely cannot compromise on. And that list shouldn't be that long. You should have a few things that you absolutely can't compromise on, some things that are complete non-negotiables for you. And once you set those things, those are the things that you need to focus on. And once you have those core things, then don't let anybody tell you that you're crazy for wanting those things. Don't let anyone tell you that you're crazy for wanting a certain type of lifestyle, and whatever that lifestyle is, you should be supported in that. So if you are the type of woman who sees herself as being the high-profile housewife, the woman who is primed for one of those Real Housewives of Name Your City shows, if you see yourself as the one who's married to the rich guy and you have 1 or 2 kids and the two of you have a nanny, and that is the lifestyle that you dream of having, then don't let anyone make you feel stupid for wanting that. If you are the type of woman who sees yourself as a stay-at-home mom to 10 kids and you and your husband aren't rich, but he makes enough money to provide for this family, and everyone has food in their bellies and a roof over their head and clothes to put on, if that's the lifestyle that you dream of having, don't let anyone tell you that you're crazy for wanting that. If you see yourself as being half a power couple and the two of you are always jet setting around the world and both of you have these really high positions, don't let anyone tell you that you are crazy for wanting that. If you see yourself as living in suburbia with 2.5 kids and 2 kids and a dog, and you are solidly middle class, you and your husband, don't let anyone tell you that you are crazy for that. Don't let anyone tell you that you are crazy because you have a standard of living that you want to have, whatever that standard is. Don't compromise yourself because some man is coming along and telling you that you are crazy for not entertaining his request for a date, because he is not at all a fit for what it is that you see in your future. You are entitled to desire what you desire. God doesn't place desires in our heart for no reason. So if you have found yourself in these relationships where you have decided that there's a certain way that you want to live, that there is a certain vision that you have for yourself and for your future, and you've dated men who have come along and they've challenged that. They've tried to tell you that that your standards are too high, that you need to settle, and that you need to date them as part of the settling process. That should be a red flag right there. So I would love to know your thoughts on this video. Feel free to put your comments in. If you have any questions, ask those too. And I get it. When we're talking about relationships, when we're talking about dating, I also get that it's a very sensitive topic. Not everybody's comfortable putting their business out there. If you want to DM me, that is fine as well. But just a few thoughts. I will talk to you ladies very soon. Love you all. Bye.